Good morning, everybody. It's Lewis Porter Jr. Today is August the 21st, I believe. It's Wednesday. New comic book day, so it's always an important day. So today, I want to talk about one of the stories that I heard back from Gen Con. I'm not going to use the actual real people's names involved in this because it would actually hurt people, some people that I know, but I thought it was important for it to get out there and for people to understand what's going on. So, here it goes. So I was talking to a friend of mine who went to Gen Con, the store owner. Let's be a little closer. He went to Gen Con, had a good time, had a great event, but he got there and he noticed something that kind of, upset him, which, he was totally valid. I think he was totally valid for. So this person had supported this certain person's Kickstarter. The Kickstarter was very well received, did very well. There was a retailer level that if you put X amount of dollars in, you could get access to their products to your store. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty reasonable. That's nothing crazy with that. That's a good idea. Here's where the problem kind of starts. The person with the Gen Con, the product was available for sale at Gen Con, which, isn't too unrealistic. So it's there at Gen Con. The guy goes there. The guy talks to their main sales guy and says, hey, I just want you to know, I'll probably most likely never support you on another Kickstarter. I was kind of shocked. He's like, well, why? He's like, well, very simply, your books are here at Gen Con, which, that's perfectly your right. You're supposed to be here. But your books that you said were going to be sent out to retailers haven't been sent out yet. And it's like, well, that's a minor thing. And she's like, well, these things happen sometimes, and, a reasonable excuse, and that can happen. He goes, yeah, but normally that wouldn't be a problem, except for this. Your books are already in general distribution already. Now, when a person uses the term general distribution, he means it's gone to distributors, and distributors are able to ship them out to retailers for retailers to get. So, basically what had happened was this Kickstarter company made a product, sent it out to the distributors, took it to Gen Con for themselves before the donors who gave them money got their copies. Now, to make sure the person was going to have copies in store for the Friday release, which was during Gen Con Friday, he had to go to his distributor and buy more copies. All right. This person already paid a certain amount to get a certain amount of books. He now has to go to his distributor to buy more books of the books he was already going to buy. Does that seem like a problem for you? I mean, that's one of those, that's a stupid mistake. And the people involved, they know what they're doing. So I was very surprised to hear that this happened. And I'm just like, I didn't make that mistake. It's kind of, this is one of those ones that I don't want to bash a person too bad because, I know them and I know people make mistakes. But at the same time, it's like, the retailer who put money into this Kickstarter expected to get this thing early to be the store people went to get the stuff. And which is, hey, support early, this is what I'm getting you. There you go. That didn't happen. The opposite of that happened. His competitors got the book basically the same time he did. And he's the one who basically helped get this book off the ground. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, was that really a good Kickstarter? It was a success, but was it a success for this retailer and several others who I'm sure have the same problem of, hey, my competition got this book before me and I got into it. So what was the point of me even having my name on this? So, this is going to be a quick little lesson of what you don't do at Kickstarter. And that's one of the big ones. Don't upset the guys who are your donors who give you money. I think when I heard about it, I was just, like I said, I was pretty shocked and like, oh, that's a bad idea. What made it worse is, this retailer said, I won't do another Kickstarter with this guy. He's already soured me on this. And it's and they said they'd take care of him. They'd buy back the other books that he had to buy. And, the guys at the Kickstarter were going to take care of him. But the problem was, the perception was they weren't as important as the distributors were. And that's one of those moments of, dude, how did you make that mistake? That's marketing 101. Hell, that's common sense 101. You got to dance with the one who brought you. That's an old saying, and there's a reason why people say it, but it's true. And these guys didn't do that. These guys did the exact opposite of that. And I think it cost them. You know, it may not be a big deal, but it did cost them in reputation. You know, because this retailer is going to talk to other retailers, and other retailers are going to talk because, you know, they perceivably lost money because they had to tie more money in a product than they actually originally had planned. And that's not something most people want to do. Since I'm doing this video, I'm sure Gary Ray will talk to this point also, that it's kind of not, that was kind of, I mean, I thought it was the most inappropriate thing you do. I know when we did our Kickstarter, one of the things I put in for us, we said, yeah, we got a retail level, you can get copies of Neo-X's book, and when it's all said and done, you'll get the copies before everything. Well, the second the Kickstarter ended, and we got the money to make sure everybody was there, we got online, we ordered the stuff, and sent them out to them. You know, it was a pretty fluid system we have in place that we could easily do this to retailers, so retailers could have it in their hands, wouldn't have to think about it, and I wouldn't have to do anything. It's like, boom, in retailer hands, done. Have a nice day. And I just can't imagine them not doing this. And it's like, oh, that was a horrible, horrible idea what you just did. And, you know, I don't know about most people, but I was lucky enough to learn in Kickstarter very, very early in the beginning. When you finish your Kickstarter, have something that you can give them. Easy to access, easy to look at, easy to have, so they know it's real, so they know you're working on it, that kind of feel. And, you know, they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. And it just, like I said, it kind of just out and out surprised me when I heard what had happened. And I just think that, you know, these are the things that retailers get mad about to publishers, about products. I mean, look, we're coming out with a Kickstarter in January. We're going to do the Monster book. It's, you know, it's myself and, you know, so far like 20 different other people. Now I know retailers are going to be able to sell this book. It's a Monster book. It's a third-party book with a lot of guys from all over working on this book. The potential for this book to be a success is very, very high. And it's for the best reason possible. A lot of people working on a cool project, letting them do what they love. And, you know, you really can't beat that. That's a pretty much a win-win. And that's, you know, virtually impossible to mess up. Except if you do something stupid. Like not send it to retailers first, not send it to donors first. You know, it's an easy way to get people pissed off at you for no apparent reason because you didn't think about what you should have done. And it's just like, wow, dude, how'd you forget that? How did you forget that? That's a bad one to forget. You know, what do you say to that? Oh, you muffed up that one. So, you know, I'm becoming more and more sensitive to Kickstarter needs and retailer needs as I'm getting more and more involved, but even deeper into just providing really great service. I mean, that's become my personal mantra for the business. It's like, how can we provide better service to people? How can we provide something that customers want and retailers can use to help gain sales? And, you know, I think taking that look in your company can only be better for you long term. You know, there's a lot of good ideas out there. There's a lot of good products out there, but what are you doing to give you that next step up on somebody else? You know, customer service is the easiest thing to fix. I believe that's a winner every time, all day long. If you go out of your way and do the smart thing and, you know, you got a great product, that's great. If you make a mistake, have a system in place where you can easily correct the mistake. These guys did. They're going to correct the mistake. I have no doubt they're going to correct the mistake. But that was a missed opportunity that didn't have to be a mistake. You know, if you sent the wrong package to someone and they got stuff they didn't want, you know, you can go to the hassle and say, oh, ship it back, or you can say, you know what, just keep the product. We're going to send you the right one. We'll credit your account and stuff. It may cost you a little bit of money. You know, it's going to cost you a little money out of your pocket, but the reputation part is worth the cost. You know, I don't think it's good to lose a customer over, you know, $10, $15, $20, you know, even $100. Because, you know, that customer in his lifetime is going to probably spend more than $100 with you. And if you treat them very well, they'll treat you very well. They're going to go out and promote your product to people by telling them, oh, look what I got. You got to check this out. It's great. And, you know, that's kind of hard to beat. I mean, how do you beat that? That's crazy. I don't know how some people do it. I don't know. I just thought it was a really bad opportunity, or I don't know. It wasn't an opportunity, but I guess it was a opportunity, a negative opportunity. It just kind of surprised me. And I've got to wonder. I don't talk to a lot of guys on the failed problems and stuff like that, and the failed issues with Kickstarter. And maybe I should. It is an issue. People have brought it up, but I never really thought about it, until it really affected someone I knew. So, I'm kind of wondering, how many people have had that same kind of experience? How many people have had, a negative experience with a Kickstarter? I mean, besides the ones that say, oh, we're going to do it, and they go belly up. That's beyond negative. I don't mean those. I mean ones where the people's service wasn't up to the level you thought it should have been. That's a good question. So if anybody wants to comment on that, please comment here at my blog, on our Facebook page. We'll put links on this so everybody can watch it and get a good feedback of what's going on and like that. And I want to have kind of an open discussion on that, because I know as a publisher, I want to find ways to help my customers be happier with my products. I mean, that's just my end goal. That's just the smart end goal of any good publisher. Give people what they want and make them happy for it. Excuse me. I mean, that just seems to be just a smart idea to do that. Yeah, I guess that's really it. That's really the focus on that one. So, Oh, by the way, if you're also a fan of Kickstarter and you're interested in Kickstarter, if you're at our blog on the left side of the website, you'll see a section that we have just for Kickstarter. There's about, I don't know, maybe 15 different links of different, some websites, some blog posts, some ideas and concepts, a little bit of everything. They'll get you inspired to perform the best Kickstarter possible, plus give you ideas, maybe stuff you never thought of. I'm a big fan of looking at other people's Kickstarters for ideas that I think were really, really valid and good ideas. One of the ideas, and it's not really a revolutionary idea, but I thought it was a smart idea that Wolfgang Bauer did for his. And I think I've seen other people do it. The guys from Dream Squad Press did it, and it's I've seen people do rewards, and rewards, all good rewards. But what I thought was kind of cool is that both of those companies and what is it? Dark Star Studios. I believe it's Dark Star Studios. They also did the same thing too. They basically made it was like a $2,000 increment was to get people. You get a reward, you get a threshold reward. So they get this threshold, and say it was 10,000. The next goal was 12,000. Next one was 14. The next one was 16. Next one was 18. I think just from what I've seen and what I've noticed, I think $2,000 is kind of the sweet spot, because $1,000 can burn through very quickly. I mean, really, you can get like 3 guys give you some really big donations, and you could jump past it, so people don't get the build the inspiration from it. I think one of the best people who did that, of course, were the guys at Bones. Reaper got the whole momentum behind them of go, 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 and people got into that whole mentality of it. And I think that was just ridiculous. People wanted more cool stuff, and they kept saying, we're going to do more cool stuff. And it was crazy. It was a crazy, more cool stuff kind of book. And I'm going to say book, miniatures. What do you say to that? They kept adding cooler and cooler stuff. And, I know tons of guys who got the Bones products. And, they're very happy with what they got. That they, at the end, got themselves a great deal. It wasn't even a good deal. It wasn't even like, oh, that's an okay deal. It was a great deal. How many miniatures did you get for $100? That's like, holy cow, you should need miniatures at least. Well, some of the guys I know, they need the miniatures the next week, but they're just crazy. But it's like, you should need miniatures as a normal person for, years. Because you got tons of stuff you can be painting. Tons of stuff. Even I thought about jumping in at $100. I'm like, maybe I'll go in. But I'm like, I don't buy miniatures. What am I going to do with all these miniatures in my house? I barely have the space for the stuff I have. I can't put any more miniatures up here. And my wife would actually try to kill me. And I like my wife. So, that's just that. But I understand the marketing strategy behind that. I understand how they position themselves in the market about that. And I think they did it right. They did. I don't know if call it customer service or maybe just customer interaction. I think they did it right. I think they saw the issue. They fixed it. And they made a price point that was appealing. It was high. $100 is $100. $100 isn't a lot to some people. But some people, that's like, that could be $1,000,000. But $100 is $100. That's a significant investment in something you haven't seen. You know, $10, you blow $10, you know, getting a bad book. It's, you know, whatever. $20, okay. 40, 50, 75. That's when you start getting that think about it mode. But $100, I mean, hey, the Bones stuff, it paid $100. It probably was worth well over $400. So I mean, you made out like a bandit on that. I mean, but once again, they did everything right. They thought about what they wanted to do. They kept pushing it. They had everything set up. And at the end, the Kickstarter enabled them to do things. You know, I mean, look, $3 million is a lot of money to get from one company. And, you know, that basically enabled them to basically help out a lot of their long-term stuff. I mean, they bought new stuff for the factory. They bought new molding equipment. I mean, that money went to great use. Not good use, great use. And, you know, and the customers, they got themselves an email list of roughly 11,000 names of people. 11,000. That's a lot of people. I mean, that's a lot of fucking people. You know, I mean, you couldn't do it alone. But if you made $3 million, you could find some people to come work for you. And, you know, $3 million, you know, somebody might notice that. You know, just a little thought. And I mean, I think you see a lot of publishers doing that kind of stuff with Kickstarter. They're trying cool ideas. They're trying stuff, you know, stuff that I would be like, who'd want that? But people want. There's fans out there who want stuff, and Kickstarter makes it at least possible to start it. Or even better, and some people said, you know, kick finisher. You know, you've got the game 90% done. You still need to get a little over. Do a Kickstarter. Okay, we've done a Kickstarter. Look, we were able to add some more stuff. You know, War Machine, their video game. You know, knew that was going to be a success. Not a big surprise, and I'm glad it was a success. And I'm amazed at some of the cool stuff they added to it. And it's like, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. I think for video game companies that have, I'd say, established fan base. I mean, could you imagine if Bungie did a Kickstarter for Destiny and said, hey, we want to add this cool, we want to add, you know, maybe weekly tournaments or whatever, some weekly content to this, and we're going to do it as a Kickstarter. Could you imagine some of the cool things they could add on the Kickstarter to give to their players? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They could go crazy over this stuff. They could put great stuff in, a lot of digital cool items. Like, okay, for example, if you donate at X level, we're going to give you this rifle. But if you donate at this level, we're going to give you this armor and this thing. And it just adds cooler things you can have to your character. And you know what? It is pretty simple. I mean, video games, digital products, you make a gun, it does this, you put an effect with it, blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't take long to do. But the players that get the weapon will love the weapon. It's theirs, it's special, they got it because of this. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Bungie do something like that. I mean, you know, they don't have to do a whole full-blown, you know, $10 million venture. But they say, oh, okay, we want to put extra expansions into Destiny, and we want to do, you know, 3 big expansions, and that's going to run us, you know, $500,000. Let's just suppose. Get people on, they sign for the $500,000. I mean, they would easily, no, which I assume Destiny will be great. That's a lot of assumption. But I assume, or even better, we're going to do this expanded thing, or we want to add some more cool races to the game. And this is the way we're going to do it, and blah, blah, blah. And if you support us, you can get to play this new race. You know, there's tons of great ideas. There's tons of great Kickstarter ideas they can do. Oh, my goodness. And Bungie, already well known, already well respected. People like Halo. I mean, come on, let's be honest. People loved Halo. So I can only guess. I what level of success they could have on a Kickstarter. You know. So I guess today is our Kickstarter conversation. I don't know where this came from. It just, you know, today's Kickstarter day, I guess. So if you're thinking about doing a Kickstarter, think about ways that you can do stuff differently. One of the cool things I thought was really cool was Wolfgang Barr doing scrolls of spells. I was like, that's a great idea. You know, that is a cool idea. Get the spell, it's on a PDF. We're going to do a scroll, we're going to put a PDF for you. That's a cool idea. I mean, you know, hey, Smart idea? Hell yeah, that was a smart idea. It looked cool, people liked it, and it only made something that was already cool cooler. I think things like that are cool. I'm all for interesting digital props, as it were. And from a purely business perspective, a digital prop is much better than a printed prop, because the case becomes, you do printed prop, you got to print it. I mean, we'll go with dice, for example. Dice, you got to print it, you got to manufacture it, got to go back, got to ship it, the weight, a lot of stuff going on for it to be a success. A digital product, when done right, there's no printing. It's all I'm doing is sending you light, as we say. Digital file, just pure light I'm sending you through the internet. You lay it out, it looks beautiful, the person gets it. Boom. They don't have to wait on the printing. You don't have to worry about going, did this thing printed out right? How many copies do I need? Once you've done it once, it is PDF, you have it for life, and you can send it out 1,000,000 times. I like that idea. I like that idea of giving people not even just quick access, but immediate access. And so, like, you put a product out, digital. I'm talking all digital. Oh, there's a mistake. We can change it. Boom. No big deal. Oh, we want to add some more stuff to it. We can change. You can keep going back to the well and changing, and it really doesn't cost you anything. I mean, you make a mistake in printing. Well, okay, scuttle the whole run, start again, and that can be expensive. I mean, print on demand has kind of helped that from happening now, because the one-off is a great idea. And then you say, oh, my first print we made this mistake, but we updated it in our second print, so now we're going back to print. Boom, print on demand, bam, bam, bam. And some people are against print on demand because they think for some reason it's better to pay a printer with a bunch of money up front. Look, I'll say it all the time. I'm cheap. I am cheap, and I want to save money. That's gonna that I could have in my pocket doing other projects with. When you put an outlay of money to printing that costs you, let's suppose this printing costs you $5,000. That's $5,000 you could be doing something else with. If you sell one at a time, one off. I mean, so suppose it's $5,000, like I said, and you got the books as cheap as $1 a book. So that's 5,000 copies. That's cheap. That's a good idea. Well, let's be honest. It's not gonna be $1 a copy. Let's just be bluntly honest. If you do traditional print, it'll probably be like $3 a copy. So that's we'll do $2.50 with quick math. I don't feel like doing a whole lot of this. So that's 10,000. That's 10,000 copies you have. You spend $5,000 on. You got to sell those to recoup your initial investment. You got to sell. You got to sell whatever amount. So if it's a $20 book, say $20. I'm just tossing out numbers here. You got to sell $2,500 to get their money back. Well, if you're doing a print on demand, the second you print one, the book costs you. Let's go back to $3. Say the book costs you $3 a print. You've got a $20 price point on it. You print the book, you sell it, boom, you get $70 that moment. Ta-da! The thing's profitable at that moment. Some people, are like, well, you don't get as good as well. $3 may not be. Just print on demand. You don't get as much money as you would if you went to traditional print. That's true, but I also don't outlay as much money. So there is those kind of economics. I think that's stuff that needs to get talked about more too. But for Kickstarter, I think digital products are better. They save you as a publisher, a Kickstarter, is that the term? I guess. They save you a lot of upfront costs, which can cost you in ways that you can't even imagine, and can easily run through the money that you've raised for your Kickstarter. There's nothing, you hear about it all the time. Guys come up with great Kickstarters, but I spent all my money on XYZ. This didn't come to press the way we thought it would. I've never done printing and I didn't know this was involved. That money can burn out quick. We're talking real quick. It's very, very possible. So I guess today's whole lesson is be aware on Kickstarter to do the right thing if you made a mistake. Do lots of cool digital products. And I'd say be nice to your mom. That's always good advice. All right, I'm at work, so I'll talk to you all later.